Hello! It's so good to see you all today. Man, there's so many talented people in this room. I could not have asked for a better audience. Give yourself a round of applause. I want to give a big thank you to Dr. Gigi Sabbat for having me today. And now, without further ado, I shall tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Judah Kolb. I have a multi-platinum rap album on Spotify that has millions of daily listeners. My wife is a famous supermodel, and I have been a millionaire since I was 12. Well, actually, none of that is true. I'm actually a 20-year-old college student who loves people, grew up in a close family, and loves loving life. Now, when I was a kid, I had a lot of trouble in school. And I also had troubles controlling my emotions. See, I would have these really intense emotional outbursts. And often, it would scare my family. So when I was in kindergarten, my parents took me to an expert and she ran tests on me. When she was finished, she took my parents to another room to tell them her conclusions about me. She would use terms like ADHD and sensory processing disorder to describe what I was going through. And then she would list off all of the things that I would never be able to accomplish in my life. For example, never being able to have good friends, never being able to get married, never being able to finish high school, never being able to hold a stable job. The list goes on and on. I was not informed of this at my age at the time, but I know it was hard for my parents to hear. Have you ever had a moment where the world made a judgment about you and decided what you were capable of doing and who you were capable of being? It hurts, right? But these are the moments that require us to step up and ask ourselves, who do we want to be? After all, we can't control what people say about us and think about us, and we certainly can't control what events happen around the world. But what we can control is how we respond to what happens in this life. Now, I didn't hear the story I just told you until almost a decade later, when I was excelling in high school, had a plethora of great friends, and was able to hold a stable job with no assistance needed. And I am pleased to say that God knew my story better than any expert ever could. And even though you and I don't know each other yet, I know that the story the world has tried to write about you isn't finished yet either. So for the next several minutes, I'm going to share with you some of the experiences I've gone through that have shown me the truth and the beauty of the life that God gives each and every one of us. And I hope that these minutes will be an invitation to you to see life as an adventure that is unfolding before you. Let's get started. So, I work at a job called Chick-fil-A. I'm sure you've heard of it. The company's got great values, the staff is very nice, the way they handle business and the way they organize customers is very good, and most importantly, they have really, really good French fries. Now often, I find myself in the drive-thru, outside, taking orders. And I come across a lot of people that are really happy. They smile and they laugh a lot, they're not afraid to make jokes, and they're very kind too. Often I get tipped generously by some of these people. But sometimes I come across people who are very unhappy. They're very critical of everything and even look for things to criticize. They're very afraid, very worried. I can tell they're very upset, and they're so easy to agitate. And when I contrast these two kinds of people, I have to ask myself, what am I going to focus on? Am I going to focus on the positive things, the happy things, the things that uplift us? Or am I going to focus on the negative things, the things that scare us, the things that make us upset and angry? And every time I have asked myself this question over the years, my reaction has been the same. I am going to be a lover of life. And in all honesty, how could I not? The world is full of amazing things, like the people, the friends and family you meet along the way. And there's so many people who are just doing magnificent things as we speak. And then there's the places, from life-changing natural beauties like Niagara Falls and the Grand Canyon, to things you see every day like the stars at night, the beaches, the caves, the valleys, and so much more. God has put so much into this world, and it's beautiful. And then there's the food. The scrumptious meals you get to eat every day. Now, I'm a pretty healthy person usually, right, Mom? Right? But even so, I still enjoy a slice of chocolate cake at times, and my personal favorite food, a bacon cheeseburger cooked medium double patty with American cheese. And then there's the music. Now there's not only a song to match every kind of mood, but I'm sure every one of you has a song that when you listen to it, you can't help yourself but to just get up and dance. There are times where I'm listening to some of my favorite music and I just move and groove. Do y'all ever do that? Raise your hand. You do that? Yeah, me too. Now I could go on and on about all of the wonderful things about life and how much God has blessed us, but I know you don't want to be here for countless hours, and frankly, neither do I. But I hope I've given you enough of an idea to show you that life is a wonderful adventure. And as an optimist, it's actually quite sad to me that there are a lot of people who don't see the world like I do. There are people whose focus is on the bad things, on the hurt, the things that make us sad and anxious, and they want nothing to do with the good, happy thoughts. But you know why? You just shared with us so many amazing things as to why we should love life. Well, even though there's so many things to love about life, there's also a lot of things that stink. We go through things that hurt, and people around us go through things that hurt. And as we grow older, we experience them more and more and more. So the people who criticize everything, the people who are upset by their lives and focus on the sad things, their reasons are valid. Life is hard, and it's just a big struggle for some of us a lot of the time. Plus, when we think about those hurtful, sad things, our moods just tend to plummet. And I don't mean to make any of you unhappy, but do you ever just get something stuck in that head of yours and you sulk? Anyone do that? Yeah, we all do, right? I do it all the time. And people who struggle to see the light are always in that state. They're always thinking about these things that have happened to them, like with their trauma and with the horrible stuff. But honestly, I mean, you guys probably know at this point, I don't see the world that way. The way I see the world is, well, it is full of darkness. And I go through challenges myself. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, it's not easy being Judah Culp. There are things I'm going through right now that are really hard and are really scary and make me frustrated. But what gets me through it? It's thinking about the little things that bring me joy where God's light shines through. Whether it's seeing the stars at night, falling in love, eating your favorite meal, spending time with a close friend, or anything you can think of, whether it be big or small, that brings you joy. I focus on those things and I savor them with every ounce of my being. And you can even find these things in moments where it seemed hopeless. Everything seems hopeless. Now, Chick-fil-A was not my first job. My first job was at Jersey Mike's, a sandwich shop. Now, one day I was working at that job and I was making sandwiches. And I was making a customer sandwich and I got it wrong. I did something wrong and I didn't know I had done something at the time. Now, the customer was very angry and he started insulting me, being very rude to me, trying to get me to understand what was going on. And I was sitting there like, dude, what do you want from me? Explain, use words. But ultimately, I worked it out with him, I wrung him out, and I got him out of the store. But it left me with a bad taste in my mouth. It made me really upset, frustrated, and sad to see someone act that way to me. But then the next exact customer in line, I was ringing him out, he was totally fine, and he said to me, "Hey man, I'm really sorry about the guy in front of me. He shouldn't have treated you like that. I hope you're doing okay. Have a good one." And he left. Now, I was so caught up in the memories of that first person that I couldn't process and think about the joyful things about that guy, right? But as I've looked back on that memory, I've once again had to ask myself, what am I gonna focus on looking back at this situation? Am I gonna focus on the guy who didn't matter and just got mad at me over a sandwich? Or am I gonna focus on the guy who, without even knowing me, tried to bring light into my life in a place where everything felt frustrating and agitating and hopeless? I choose to focus on the second person because he taught me one simple thing, that even in the most awful, most pointless, horrible moments, there is joy. You just have to look hard enough. And when you find it, grasp it, savor it with every ounce of your being. Now, when I was a kid, I loved cake. I love cake now, but back then, I loved cake. There is a difference. Every time I had a bite of a slice of cake as a kid, with every ounce of my soul, I would go, this is amazing. Now, fast forward to several months ago. I'm 20 like I am now, and I'm sitting at a birthday party with a piece of cake in my hand. I'm not savoring it like I did when I was 7. I'm just kind of scarfing it down, just kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's cake, it's pretty good. And then I just throw my plate away when I'm done. And I was thinking about that comparison, or that contrast earlier, and I was like, you know, I haven't really savored cake like that, like since I was a kid. I think next time I have a piece of cake, I'm gonna savor it good. Now, that's hard for me because I eat fast, but that's not the point. When we are children, our lives are simple. That's why we're more blissful, because our parents take care of us and we aren't exposed to the darkness that we know of now. I mean, think about it. When you were a kid, did you have to deal with money, marriage, moving out of the house, college? No, you didn't, because you were living a simple life and your parents were taking care of you. But as we grow older, we do. We have to take those responsibilities. And like I mentioned before, as we grow older, we see more darkness, and because of that, our childlike joy, it goes away. But does it have to be that way? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it does. Think about that slice of cake again. Life is like that slice of cake. How are you gonna savor it? Are you gonna eat it fast and go, yeah, well, it was a slice of cake, I guess, and you're gonna throw away your plate? Or are you gonna, with every single bite, tell yourself, this is amazing? I encourage you to do the second option, because when you think about it, doing so, looking at every moment in a positive mindset, you are saying to God, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Now, remember, that childlike joy often goes when we get older, but it never has to be that way. So when you put your mind towards the positive things and away from the bad stuff, you will go from a depressed, sad place to a happy, optimistic place. That, my friends, is a hack to a happier, healthier life. Now, be careful, because the trap people often fall into is they start savoring the bad stuff, because that's the stuff that sticks better. Why do you think people watch the news all the time? Because they're constantly putting fear and doubt in your face. They're telling you, here's all the bad that's happening in the world. And that sticks more than the good does. Do you remember when I was telling you about the story at Jersey Mike's where I focused more on that first person who hurt me and not the guy who tried to cheer me up? That's not too different from what I'm talking about here. If savoring the good stuff is like savoring a slice of cake, then savoring the bad stuff is like savoring rotten food you found out of the trash can outside. It's not only terrible tasting, it's not good for you. Life is hard. You go through a lot of challenging things that just feel hopeless and unbearable. And I know that on life on planet Earth, we all have to face it. I have to face it. But there is still so much good that can come out of this life. And that, when you focus on that and we think like children again, that is where we will get our joy back again. Another way to find this joy is to be content, to be grateful. Do you know how many people become depressed and unhappy because they want something they feel they deserve, and yet they aren't focused on everything else? I mean, think about it. We were all kids once, right? We walked through, Target with mom. We saw a Lego set on the shelf. We were like, oh, mom, can I get it? And mom would go, no, you have like 10 at home. And we would sit and we would throw a fit. We would make complaints, make excuses. And now I don't throw temper tantrums anymore. But still, there are times where I've sat there and I've been like, why don't I have this? I deserve it. But am I thinking about what God has already given me? No, I'm not. But when we learn to embrace the things already given to us, and we show true gratitude for it, our hearts sing out in praise and thankfulness, and we experience God's presence even in the darkest of moments. Before I go today, I would like to leave you with a motto of mine. Life is an adventure. Don't miss a moment. And so today, I encourage you to seek joy in whatever you do, no matter what it may be. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss a moment. Grasp the joy. Savor every bit. That's what I'm gonna do, and I invite you to join me today. So come on, let's enjoy the journey and adventure of life together. Thank you so much for your time. Have a blessed day.